points as quickly as they can so they can be a scaling menace at the same time. Obviously being relevant enough during those early to mid-game stages that Iron had to think, you know, guess again as to should we actually go for this play or will we get punished for it? Well, either way, though, it is a best of two. Iron are currently leading with a one-game lead, and they'll be quite happy, thinking, well, we've run it back in a very similar fashion. Perhaps we can just close it out with a perfect 2-0, get all the 3 points, and look forward to another game later on. But as for Fury, I think their comp does give them a little bit of an easier time of trying to find those fights. Obviously, you've got the Scatter of the Week, which can find that range stun. You've got then the, you know, the classic Nautilus Ornn champion, right? Ultimate, guaranteed knock-up, easy as you like it. So I am curious to see how this does materialize come into this laning phase, if we can find any kind of lane to lean towards. And I suppose where Nox wants to try and play towards primarily.
Yeah, I assume Nox is just going to continue to clear. He doesn't want to run into Collie in the early game. Lee Sin is such a, you know, powerhouse in the 1v1, especially against these squishy mages. Nox can find leads through his jungle clear speed. Collie wants to, you know, link up with the Hex Flash, link up with Jovi, move around the map, find these kills, because if he snowballs, if he finds like extra kills in the early game, it's so hard for these squishy champs of Chirp, Hooper, and Nox to be able to play the game against a fed Lee Sin.
Here we go then. We start from the very get-go, and it is to be Hex Flash that looks to get in Fino's face, make sure that no crazy action takes place again, where people losing way too much HP. See Coley crossing across the map, looking to see what he can find inside the jungle. Already hunting for the Lilia, much to your point, right? If they're not here, fantastic, I get to steal away a camp. If they are here, maybe I get a camp and you too.
Yeah, this is one of the major ways to attack these mage junglers, Skimmy, is they always want to play for the full clear, they always want to be efficient. You invade on your second or your third camp, you can always find them. If it's your third camp, you find them in the jungle and you play for that 1v1, but if it's on your second camp, you can steal away a camp. So we'll have to see if Nox is able to recognize he's been invaded and whether he's going to invade his top side and try to trade these camps.
It does feel rough, though, to try and, you know, have the courage to go for an invade, knowing that your top and mid lanes are just getting pushed in, so you wouldn't get any kind of reinforcement anytime soon. He's going to come across to the Wolves and say, well, I can get this one pretty happily. Puts a ward down on blue and goes, well, that's gone. And now we see that Grump's been taken too. Has to be even more concerned.
This might be Hooper blowing Cleanse here.
To go wrap around, Sonic Wave just out of range as Hex Flash tries to find it. Sticks flashing in his face. But Hooper with a flash dash and disengage route, making sure that Iron do not get a bit of a repeat and find themselves in very early first blood. Jovi nearly getting a repeat with the gank onto Chirp in the 1v1. And is this going to simply die to red buff auto attacks as Nox gets it done for first blood?
Yeah, that is so unfortunate, but for the Fury bot lane, Skimmy, Coley is going to rotate up instead of, you know, staying around to try pressure. Doesn't find the trade kill, Skimmy, and he might fall down here.
I think he's really gone for this one, and unfortunately, he's just literally donated them a freebie. That feels bad. That does feel very, very bad, but sometimes the allure of a low HP member is too much to pass by.
Yeah, and we do see the aggression coming out of Find It on the sticks. Doesn't have the flash himself, as he did blow it earlier, so if this Q does land, or just the flash order, that's easy, Skivvy.
Unbelievable. Literally all across the map right now, we're seeing Fury really rise up to the task and say we need to be so much more aggressive early. And now, 3 kills as easy as you like.
Yeah, and I think this might have been a mistake out of the Ion side. You know, Sticks flashing forward, blowing the flash out of Hooper himself was very good for a team play, but for his individual 2v2, it wasn't good. Coley decides not to stick around and punish that when he sees that Nox has, you know, crossed mid to the top side. And, you know, really punish Hooper, who was going to die under that turret if they play for the dive. He tries to go up to the top side. Unable to find the trade kills. Jovi unable to find the solo kills. Well, such minimal margins happening across the map, Skimmy. And Fury are finding leads thanks to it.
Well, certainly not going to slow down Jovi's attempt to be aggressive. One more auto, one more pebble, either or will have to do. And Jovi's going to sidestep out on that swirling sea, but going to get ganked upon by 2 different members. Coley going to try and do as much as he can to switch their aggression. And in the end, it proves to be successful because they split the decision. Do we go for the Lee Sin or do we finish up to Talia? In the end, they get nothing.
Yeah, and Jovi is doing such a good job in the 1v1. You know, he missed out on that solo kill earlier by like 10 health, but finds the solo kill here himself. So very nice to see he's doing so good in the 1v1. This is what I talk about. Like Syndra's early game just isn't the same as it used to be. A lot of it is about scaling. You know, getting the 40 stacks, getting access to those double Qs is the main point of Syndra, where like you come online because it's so hard to abuse Syndra and her like long cooldowns that she has in the early game when she finally gets that evolution.
Yeah, as you mentioned, right, it's the ability to pick up all those splinters, and once you have upgraded one, then suddenly things become just a little bit easier for you to pilot, not only in the laning phase, but also when you want to try and take that 1v1 and showcase who the bigger mid player is. But promising signs to come into this second game. If they're Fury are looking to try and salvage at least a point to try and double their current standings, up by just over 1,000 gold. Perfect start, and especially if it allows Nox to go back to farming.
Yeah, and we do see Chirps, still playing outside the creep wave, still playing aggressively, still trying to trade as much as possible, but I don't think he wants to be trading health like this because he has Lilia in the jungle. Lilia doesn't want to be impacting mid lane. She just wants to be in her jungle, clearing over and over again. Lee Sin wants these volatile lanes to keep happening because if he can impact the map in early game, Skimmy and Snowball, he'll be able to take over the game.
And that's what we'll be hoping for, but both supports certainly have their work cut out for him for leaving bot lane and rotating to mid as often as they can. You certainly know that either side would look to entertain the idea of a gank to try and accelerate their lead as Chirp falls upon that unraveled earth and is forced to walk away with a lot less HP than he initially started with. But this time Maple Syrup actually getting a little bit of a foothold in top lane, which is nice to see. Certainly was a very rough start for him, making his debut in the LCO last game, but this time able to handle the Gragas, it would seem.
Yeah, this matchup's always been, it's, Renekton's able to push while trading in the early game. Gragas can't really muscle him out yet, but once he gets access to the, a bit armor, or if he decides to go for the health in the Rod of Ages, if he wants to go for like the double scaling mage items, he's going to be able to have a lot more sustain than Renekton thanks to the passive, and just really, win these trades, and eventually get to a point where he can, start using that body slam as a wave clear tool while trading.
Has opted for the Grasp Rune as opposed to the Phase Rush that we saw earlier, so he's going to be a very tanky boy no matter what build he decides to go for in the end. And we have seen Doraemon be a bit of a titan if it were to be that of an AP Gragas. Could definitely add another level of scary threat to their table, as Chirp once again going to get flipped on back inside the turret range. Sidestep on that Scatter of the Week, and Jovi going to be A-okay for the meantime as we check in with top, and Maple Syrup has already burnt the Dominus. Explosive Castle was burnt prior, you'd have to imagine, so baiting him to a ward, flashing out of that Sonic Wave, because if that had connected, lights out for Maple. And he still might be in trouble because Doraemon is going to look to try and crash this wave as quickly as they can. It is a cannon wave, so it's going to take a long time. Target has been acquired, and now they're looking to try and execute.
He's a low troll, Skimmy, definitely, but he does find the heal up on the wave, but I think, Colley's going to be able to wait for that Sonic Wave to come back up, easy execute. This is one of the problems with, maps. You gotta recognize you're in trouble. You can't be trading aggressively, chasing people out, because your jungler is not there to help you. So you see the arrow come out from base, and if that landed, I think that would have been a kill, Skimmy.
I agree. Yeah, very close, and good awareness from Chirp there. He didn't even have flash available, so he couldn't even mash that button if he tried. Sidesteps it and is able to then wrestle a lead, especially in the HP department, to force Shovey back.
Yeah, we see the 40 splinters come out of Chirp, so he's got access to the 2 Qs. You can see on the champion stat, you can see he's got the extra one, always stacking, always having one in the back pocket. The health advantage will start going towards him. He's going to do a lot better in the 1v1. Had to buy the lucidity boots early on because he lost access to his flash, so he needs an extra bit of move speed to be able to navigate a lot of pressure coming to lane. But he's going to base now, pick up some AP, probably the Lost Chapter and some components, and just have a much better time in this 1v1.
Yeah, he's just going to help him not only with his wave clear, but his harass, and also that all-in potential, right? Another orb to add into the mix for unleashing that pain on any given target, and suddenly it is very much lights out for them. Nox on vision, having cleared topside, is just going to utilize all that bonus movement speed just to rush into top. Say hello to Doraemon, who will just simply sidestep that swirling seas and say, it was a nice attempt, but you won't catch me. Out goes the Solar Flare, instant cleanse from Hooper. Findo, not with the same luxury, but it is enough to try and force them underneath this turret. It's a very fragile wave, which Findo tries to trim. Summons the Call of the Forge God. Out comes the damage, but it's not enough. Hooper needed more protection than that, needed even more mitigation. But they will find a trade back. Hexflash tanking the turret, dies for his sins.
Yeah, so this is one of the problems with Nox showing top. He has almost no kill pressure on the Doraemon. He still has the flash. Walks past the ward, shows on vision, which means Ion feels so comfortable to dive this bot lane.
Wow, look at that. I mean, just so much conviction behind that play. We're both low HP, but I see a target. We're both going in, and we're making it work. We pan back to mid lane right now, much like you said, Chirp, with an item advantage, with a shard advantage. Is just able to do so much damage that he unleashes the power onto Jovi and is literally auto-attacking him to death. Even if he flashes away, it wasn't to be. Coley comes into play clean up, but Hex Flash takes it for himself.
Yeah, Chirp deciding to hold the flash there, but Nox finds the trade kill onto Styx, and this is so important. He's missing a cannon wave. Hooper's getting damage onto this pirate, probably pick up a plate for himself, and if Nox does pick up the camp here, I would say this might be a favorable trade for Fury.
Let's see if it continues in their favor. They still have that 500 gold lead. It hasn't really changed ever since they found those initial few kills at the very beginning of this game. He's going to get denied all these minis, but Hooper's not really interested in that. He just wants these soul stacks, and he's going to manage to pick up a few of these. Once Nox jumps in, steals away the red buff, then puts you to sleep and says, goodbye, Collie. Finally, I get my revenge.
Yeah, and we see Nox isn't really interacting with anyone on his team. You know, he's showing on the map when he probably shouldn't, but he's running around the map. He's clearing all his camps. He's getting kills onto the jungler. He's cleaning up these lanes, which, you know, there's so much volatility happening on the map, and he's just cleaning up, and he's already picked up his Leandries, and he's very comfortable this game, Skimmy. I think if he does decide to pick up a defensive item next, he can, you know, tank up a lot of the damage coming out of the Ion side and be a really strong bruiserish mage in these skirmishes. Yeah, I'm pretty scary by the prospect of him picking up a very early Zhonya's. The ability to be so aggressive and can continue to snowball would be second to none at this point, right? 3-0-1, the only person on this team that has yet to die so far. Only Bounty in the game to add to that as well. And even it is a bit of a selfish playstyle of not wanting to link up with your team, it's working. And if it continues to work, then who are we to say otherwise? They want to continue the gold lead to be in their favor. And it has actually forced a lane flip from the bot lane of Ion. Skimmy, there is a TP on Chirp and a TP on Fino, so we have to see if they want to help out Maple Syrup on this tower dive here. Will they decide to help him, or will he simply get surrounded by 4? Not even 4. It's too quick for the kill to be found that Jovi's not even able to get inside by the idea of a cheeky little assist of his own. Doraemon, I mean, he's taking up the tower. Look at that body slam. Surely he finds what he does. He's rewarded for what was such a heroic attempt to hold on the map flip. And unfortunately for Ion, they're unable to be in a position to execute any other members, but they won't mind too much because they're going to get this top tower, or at least get it very low. Yeah, a much better job from the Ion top laner on the the map split, trying to outplay this 3v1 dive, so he's able to find the 1-for-1. But the kill does go to Nox, and I think that, you know, these farming junglers in these split map scenarios it's always gonna favor them, Skibby. It's always about finding as much gold as possible onto the right people, and we see that, you know, Nox walks in. Doraemon is extremely tanky at this point in the game, and he's able to absorb so much damage, you know, thanks to the passive, the Drunken Raid passive with the sustain that comes out of him. And, you know, Senna not really doing any damage at this point in the game, so really well played by Doraemon to be able to find the trade kill there and, you know, not make it such a dire scenario. Absolutely. Yeah, you certainly know you're up against it when you're getting dived by that many members, but to at least take one with you is always going to be a win. You can see 2 members locked inside there, the Baron Pip, thinking, how do we get ourselves out of this rough situation? They can't just simply turn away and say, we're no longer interested in this one, as Hex Flash looks to lock down Chirp. Coley going to get pushed to the side by the Scatter of the Weak, and Jovi no longer able to join this fight, blocked away. If you use that Weaver's Wall, he's going to turn around in the end. There's Nox who swings that staff around, finds one, hunting for a second, but knocked back there by Coley's kick and denied a double. He is very fed, Skimmy. The amount of damage he's outputting right now, even through all the resistances coming out of the Leona W, I'm very afraid for Ion based on how fed Nox is right now. He really can take over this game right now. It's not to say that the rest of his team is weak, but he is incredibly strong. He does have the world at his feet as to what does he decide to do next, and would not be too surprised to see the rest of Fury just look to rally around the jungler, which is a very rare sight to see. Yeah, and to be fair, Skimmy, Ion's comp has a lot of CC, so if something lands, it will stick, as we do see the trade coming out of Jovi. Ooh, very close. Safety flash roll. Very, very close there. Just cops the Ash ult, survives through it, and then flash thereafter. And you'd think for a second, maybe, just maybe, you'd fall on down and they'd find at least something on that occasion for Ion, but no, Fury quite content in their ways. 1k lead now becomes 2k, and it does bring into question what we discussed on the analyst test beforehand, right? You know, the team that wins early tends to win out the game as a whole, and I'm wondering if we're sort of heading along that trajectory this game too. Yeah, we'll have to see how this game goes. The problem though for Fury is a lot of their gold is on Nox, so if any CC does land, he does have access to the Merc Treads though, so he can, you know, maybe throw out a flash when it does come back up to live any follow-up, but since he doesn't have it right now, if an Ash arrow lands into a Solar Flare, into a Talia shove, he is going to fall down regardless of how fed he is. Let's see if he finds the liberty of getting to the items he needs before that really becomes a bit of a concern. TP denied, the turret falls on down, so cancel. Unable to assist on this occasion, but it's not going to stop them from still rocking up to try and make this fight a winning one for them. Ah, so close by Hex Flash.
The Solar Flare doesn't get the stun, he gets the slow, the flash, Zenith Blade just out of range. And if they'd found that kill there, that may have been the turning point.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, Hex Flash recognizes if any CC lands, he will be falling down. We do see Hooper, you know, going for the bubble item, the bubble lethality item straight away to try, you know, be able to play around Leona throwing solar flares, Ashol's coming out. See him very aggressive right now, dodging everything. Fancy feed.
There's no way Hooper just literally dodged everything there. What a mad lad. In comes Doraemon. He's had enough, says something has to die. And he will be rewarded in the end. Sending Chirp to the grave for 30-second. Out comes the Ashol. Collie on the flank looking for Hooper. You've dodged everything, but you can't dodge this. Kick to the head. Out goes the call of a Forge God, only going one direction. And Spino's unable to answer back with a second charge of that one. But Maple's going to be left to his own, farming topside, and this mid lane's about to fall.
Yeah, and the problem with Fury's comp right now is a lot of their gold's on Nox. No one else is very strong. We see Fino flashing forward, trying to be aggressive. But he just misses, he whiffs, and he falls down so easily, Stimmy.
He certainly does, and like this does feel that turning point in the game. They've had enough of really giving Fury that chance to feel inspired, and that 2k lead is no longer there. But it's all so well done by Hooper at the start here.
Yeah, just a lot of fancy feet coming out, but Church is out of position, doesn't have access to the flash from what these previous skirmishes were. Really nice flank from Doraemon. We don't have TP on Maple, so he's unable to impact his fight, and we see that they try to defend his tower at 3v5. CC lands onto Nox, and you see how easy it is to take him down, even though he's so strong.
Yeah, so strong, but falls on down, and it couldn't have gone to a better person, right? It's Styx that picks up the shutdown goal, so going to be very, very happy as he'll be able to rush towards that Trinity Force in little to no time. Already has the Phage, so already a third of the way there. And back to laning phase we go as we sit the 17-minute mark. It's actually Iron for the first time this game. They've actually got the gold lead back in their favour. Once the TP does go towards the bot side of this, Fury as a two-man unit looking to try and take this Herald and make sure they have at least something to keep the gold going back their way.
Yeah, we see the TP coming out of Zerby though, so what's the flank onto Hooper?
See who's the focus right now. Styx goes for one target. That is Nox. He's stuck in the air, but flash across the wall doesn't lose any uptime whatsoever. So back-to-back kills for Styx onto the enemy Bambi. Happy days for him. They'll find a second in the mid lane as Fino falls on down two. Hooper amongst the action as well. And this mid-game, I mean, I tell you what, there's something in the water here. It comes to the mid-game, they always find a way to stabilize.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we see the items coming through as completions for the Fury side. I'm a bit concerned about the damage profile looking at Fury's comp. We see the Edge Knight coming out for Hooper. Really good defensive item for him to allow him to, you know, play aggressive and really avoid the Ash Arrow and the Solar Flare coming out of Hex Flash. But it's just not going to offer the same damage that he would get from the other lethality items. And I'm a bit concerned as he is like, the two main AD threats coming from Fury are falling behind. But like, yeah, going into the replays to me, how easy it is to pick Hooper. Even though he had access to the Edge of Night, it's not here to save him from Zerby flanking him like this.
Yeah, it's brutal. Then you can really see the rest of Fury completely split, fighting from multiple different directions, not grouped up as a unit. As you can see, Iron just turned their attention. Who's the next one? As a four-man squad, we then rotate towards that one. So he's a bit of an awkward state now, and maybe really starts to expose some of the concerns that you mentioned about having all that gold in sole possession by Lilia.
Yeah, but okay, to be fair, it's only a 2k gold lead, and Nox's flash has come back up, so this next fight is the fight that he can take over. This is probably their main window to get back into the game. This next objective coming up with the Dragon, you know, Fury don't like to do objectives, they like to fight everything, so they're going to come in group on the midway and, you know, fight for some control. Styx doesn't have access to the flash here, so this might be lights out for him.
Let's see if they can find it then. Two members knocked up by their own ultimate instant kick by Cole Leader there, and really nicely peels away Styx, but then Hex Flash becomes the focus instead. He expended his full combo, and that was all she wrote. It's going to be a bit of a sad charge from Shelly here as it finalizes the damage onto that tier 1 turret. It didn't need the Herald, but they'll settle for it. Question does become, though, does that give them access to go for their third Drake? Can they look to stack up a very early soul point, or will Iron answer back as they go in? You can see Doraemon looking to continue to threaten. The Dragon still has been engaged. Styx is attending to mid-wave, and Coley also hunting from across the wall.
Yeah, and I think contesting this could be scary, Skimmy, if they do want it, but I think Coley's just going to try play for the steal, get out.
I saw it go to like 70 HP. Very, very close. But he can ward hop to safety. Gets put to sleep, but he's so far to range now, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so they got the Dragon, they got the mid turret, Skimmy. They're happy with getting away with murder pretty much, even though they aren't in a state where they should be able to win these fights. just because of the Summer's advantage here, they're able to do so. So very nice to see that Fury pulled the trigger, Findo pulls the trigger on the call of the Foolish God, Styx instantly taken out of the fight, pretty much put down on low HP, Coley forced to blow his flash. Once again, we see Chirp being aggressive in the side lane and getting caught out again.
Unfortunately for him, as you say, yet delayed on the re-entry there by Coley, but gets the execution in the end, and now matches the power, or at least the KDA, you should say then, of Nox, who at that point, leading into that Dragon fight, was the only person with 2 items, so it was a fantastic moment for them to try and showcase just how struggling they were. They didn't even need to really rely upon it, so this game really is going back and forth, and a 2K lead now favors Iron, but I'm still not sure which team to favor.
Yeah, I would definitely put more eggs in the Ion basket right now. With those summoners coming back up from the Ion side, it's very hard for Nox to find these huge sleeps that he really needs to find in these team fights to have any impact. And as more items come forward, as we get the cleanse back up for Styx, maybe a Zhonya's coming out of Jovi, a lot of defensive items or defensive summoners to be able to navigate this sleep that could potentially land onto multiple members.
But that seems like what we're leaning towards is the next acquisition by a lot of these players, right? Is the ability to try and outplay some of these really decisive cooldowns. Obviously, unleashing the power can be a pretty devastating one. Same could be said then, as you say, for the Slate. Even the kick, right, of the Lee Sin, or even the Ashe Arrow. I mean, there's certainly so much to warrant that you need to be careful, because an Ashe Arrow into a seismic shove, and it really is as easy as that for Iron to then pounce upon you for that kill.
Yeah, just unfortunate, unable to get the auto on the blast cone to be able to get to safety, but we see the Ashe ult going down, we see the Clear Wall going down. These are 2 tools that are not threatening Nox anymore, so if they do find a fight here, Nox might be able to do a lot.
The decision there from Fury as to, well, are they on the Baron? There's surely no way, right? They must be ganking, unless they go for the face shake, they find what they're after, but maybe not the answer they wanted in the end, because top lane's being pushed out. Now they regroup as a squad and look to try and force up the fight. Nox is the focus right now, and for good reason too, but Hexflash gets chirped, and they jump to try and find Nox, who instantly flashes away, drawing their attention even further out of this one. It just becomes messier and messier. Great explosive cast by Doraemon, hunting out Hooper, who lurks in the shadows to try and dodge their ability to find him, and will be successful in the end. Baron is there, but is that HP healthy enough to start this? I don't think so.
Warmogs, gimme. Warmogs. I think they're very comfortable to start this Baron. We see a really nice kick coming out of Coley, disengaging. We see his build as well. He's just a complete Lilia counter right now. He's gone for the Maul, gone for the Merc Treads. Even though they are missing health on some members, I think Ion are pretty safe with, pulling this Baron right now.
Well, Maple seems to be geared up and ready for the contest, for that burger flip. He's already popped that Dominus. He's ready to jump into this one, but it's no contest from Nox. He's just simply not here. The fight will break out, but it is going to be very one-sided so far, because it seems like Renekton is a lone wolf. He's the first one to fall on down. Nox coming in from a flank, looking to try and isolate his key members and make the fight a little bit easier for them to path around. Hexflash then, incredibly low, since I need to utilize my full combo before I do inevitably fall on down both Chirp as well as Styx, get in amongst the chaos, and then he just hits the flash and says there's no escaping this.
Yeah, and Nox can't get into these fights. He can't do damage. This is one of the main issues with Lilia. You're a low-range champion, and bursting champs like Ashe, like Leona, like Talia. It's so hard to get in without just taking your entire health bar the moment you come near these champions.
It's so awkward. You're watching again. You can see him hanging on the fringes, waiting to find the moment, but we're yet to see that moment where you go for the flash, spin around and put the entire team to sleep.
Yeah, and this is just Lilia without flash, pretty much. Can't get near. We see Hexflash doing a really good job zoning Nox out consistently, like using cooldowns, using your body as a shield for the rest of your team. And based on the items and the gold that Ion has, once Nox is moving from the fight, I think they're missing a lot of their strength for me.
It certainly seems to be that way, right? Obviously, Hooper's been farming up an absolute storm, but not enough at this point in the game. You still do need like another 10 minutes or so to truly hit the heights of a fasting Senna. It's just the disjointed nature in which these fights are taking place in, where they're doing such a good job, our Ion, in not allowing Fury to execute their game plan the way they really want to.
Yeah, definitely, and it's so hard for Hooper to do the damage he needs to right now. He doesn't have a decent amount of stacks at this point in the game. He went for the defensive item instead of like the opportunity you usually see from the center at this point in the game. Probably behind the clock when it comes to items in general. So having a lot of their damage profile be so magic damage heavy is, it's biting them in the arse a bit, Skinny, because they don't have the 80 threat from the top or the 80 that they really need right now.
Yeah, they certainly don't, and Maple's going to be kicking himself over this one. He's not going to hold, he's not going to burn the flash, rather. He's just going to simply cop that stun by Leona. He's going to be confused by the ability for the Zenith Blade to follow him, even despite getting away. Out goes the Weaver's Wall, completely isolating this turret as a done deal. It will fall on down. Now becomes 5 turrets to 2. And with Ion still having the Baron, they've made it a pretty successful one with the amount of gold they've been able to achieve with it. Surely they go towards the Dragon now and deny Fury of that soul.
Yeah, and this is the Cloud Soul. And Skimmy, I sent you a stat the other day, which actually caught me off guard. The Cloud Soul is the highest win rate soul by almost 6%.
Yeah.
You know, all the other souls are sitting on that like 87, 88% point. But, you know, Cloud Soul, 93, 94% win rate. And the Swifties bought a lot of the time if you don't need the extra utility coming out of the defensive boots.
I can't wait until like, what, season 20 or something crazy where League of Legends or Riot then go, you know what? How crazy would it be if we just said, you know, everyone likes to be mobile. Let's just give everybody like mounts. Let's just let everyone run around the map, just freely rotate. That's no longer a big concern of ours, right? I feel like it could certainly go that direction because the ability to be so quick has definitely been a staple in many different comps. In goes Coley with the Insect. Isolates out the key target he's after. Nox goes golden, but his entire team is going grey around him. He will eventually fall on down, and the hunting pack of Iron continues to march on forward. Findo runs to the hills and top lane. Maple, full HP, bear in mind, straight back into mid. And Doraemon, as a classic top laner, not interested. He's off split pushing.
Yeah, beautifully said, Skivvy. You know, he goes gold, but his entire team goes great. That's been the story of this game. Everyone's dying around Nox. He can't take over these fights by himself. He needs his team, but there's just no one there to really help him, and everyone's fallen so far behind. And I think that is thanks to Coley. Like, the performance he's having on this Lee Sin right now is one that a lot of teams need to start thinking about.
I agree. No, he's certainly been a standout in this series alone. Both games have been really, really strong from him, and certainly is adding another layer of difficulty to how do you approach a team like Iron. Let's run it back on the replay once again, because it all just starts with a nice Ash Arrow.
Yeah, we see the Ash Arrow not landing onto Nox, but it doesn't matter because Coley finds the Insect, finds that really easy kill onto him. He's already done his job. He's not even looking back at Nox. He's already onto Hooper, finds another member to take out the fight straight away. He's just having so much presence in these fights, and it's just really easy. He can either use his kick to disengage Nox from, you know, flashing in and flanking his team, or use it to throw him into his team and just blow the champ up.
Yeah, for all the good work done in the early game by Fury, it's completely come unstuck, hasn't it? Now, 27 minutes in, 10k deficit. And very much the kill score is leading its way towards a repeat of what we saw in game one, and being very heavily favoured in Ion's regard. Out goes another Ash Arrow. Oh, very close from finding themselves the Zenith Blade to follow things up for the true CC pairing. But the pressure doesn't simmer down anytime soon, and he's made to flash across the water safety.
Yeah, the pressure has not simmered down this entire game, Skimmy. They're always on the front foot. We always see Ion throwing out these abilities off cooldown pretty much. I don't think I've seen the Ash ult off cooldown for a very long time. Constantly throwing it out, trying to hit whatever member they can because they have so much follow-up for this utility coming out of Ion side. But they are going for the aggression onto Doraemon.
We'll try one more play. The 1v5 surrounded by Hannah Gragas. Can we get the kill? He's limping away. The Dawning Shadow's the one to take him in the end. That is a shutdown. The first kill of the game here for Hooper, which he has certainly been hunting for all day long. Styx continues to flash forward aggressively, never seemingly in a position where he needs to use it to run away. He is a front-forward, W-key only Ash type of player. And with 6 Void Grubs, you wouldn't put it past him to find a few more kills and then look for the end. Onto Finder they go. He's taking up the world, but there is another Ash ult right off cooldown into the perfect bot lane combo. CC'd for pretty much all year long. And Findo, the sole survivor, well, not anymore.
Yeah, Coley goes for the Insect onto Chirp, but doesn't realize he's going to one-shot him anyway, so it doesn't even matter about, you know, finding that kick onto to find the Syndrome back into your team. And very, very nice team fight from the team. Doraemon's so tanky, takes so long to kill, so the rest of the team rotates, cleans up that team fight pretty easily, and Iron are going to take away the 2-0 this week.
Perfect 2-0 for them. Happy days. It continues this narrative as to what are our strongest teams. The top 3 seems pretty much guaranteed at this point. But outside of that, it's still all up in the air. What is Styx doing for this time? Ain't no way he's hitting the gritty on LCO.
You know, as Ezreal would, hitting the gritty on the LCO. Respect that we're seeing some camera movement. That's what I like to see, Skimmy. I like to see some camera movement after game. So hopefully this one goes into the montage. Very nice to see out of Ion. I think that this team, it's good to see that, you know, one of our Dark Horse teams is having good performances like this.
It really is. I love the polarity shift, right? You go from Styx just having a great